Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks a lot for being here. I think this is a very opportune moment for this timely and engaging discussion on celeb cause and how brands can leverage celebrities for ensuring a very fruitful partnership. More than ever, today, celebrity collaborations and partnerships are increasingly important. It is not just about putting a face in front of the audience and you will get sales. Increasingly, it's about how you can co-create and drive meaningful associations that can drive long-lasting impact with brands and which is helpful for both parties. Now, as part of this discussion, we have Ricky, who is the CEO of Solitario Diamonds. We have Rishi Dewan. He is a co-founder at Twiddles, a healthy snacking brand. And we have Dhruv Aggarwal, the partner at Bain and Company. I think we have Krishna, who is also joining, who is a founder at Saaki, a brand that is built with a celebrity at heart. So to get things started, do we have Pallavi online? All right. To get this started, we just wanted to understand what does celeb collaborations mean in today's world, and how do you, as brands across various spaces, think about celebrity collaborations? Second, we want to understand how has celebrity collaborations and the consumer's mind evolved today versus what it was 5 years ago. Maybe Ricky, you can get started on this.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Well, coming to celebrity collaborations. Well, in our case, Solitario, it wasn't really planned. So I remember Vivek Oberoi was coming to Pune, and I was super excited because I like his films and he's a fantastic actor. So I dressed up myself, went, sat next to him. And while discussing, I realized and I was amazed by the type of business knowledge they have. So for me, a collaboration with a celebrity was about what he brings to the table. Not only the PR, the advertisement, was the knowledge they bring, the amount of exposure they have, the amount of people they meet. So for me, Vivek Oberoi was a walking, talking businessman. Learned a lot from him. Structured the company. I had one store, and today, God's grace, we are in 21 cities, and it's great. So for me, collaboration with a celebrity, it's all about how they interpret the brand, how they're going to help in the growth of the brand, and what are they going to do for the brand. So that's why today Solitario is looking at certain collaborations with a lot more celebrities, but creating a line behind them. So there should be a concept. Celebrity needs to identify yourself with the brand, according to me. I think taking brand ambassadors is great, but I think it's no more what consumers are waiting for. They're waiting for a celebrity to be able to interact with the brand. That would be my opinion.
Got it. Very helpful. Do you want to add your thoughts on how you have seen, given you have launched a brand with a celebrity at its heart?
Sure, absolutely. So I think traditionally celebrities have been used more so in a manner to build recall for a brand, right? So when you walk into a movie theater and I mean Lux, for example, which is an innerwear brand, right? You'll always remember like an Akshay Kumar with that, right? So I think building recall is what traditionally celebrity associations have been leveraged for, but today it has evolved to what else can they bring to the table beyond just their face, right? Which is extending a certain personal brand identity that helps shapes the journey of the brand, or it could be, added value beyond just their presence in advertising. And I think that's how celebrity brands, in fact, like you said, in the last 5 years itself, it has changed significantly because even customers seek a certain sense of authenticity and want to be able to see a part of themselves in that celebrity that is forefronting the brand. Sorry, I'm a little unwell, so.
No problem.
Yeah. Hi. Morning, everyone. So from at Twiddles, I would say we look at it from two different point of view. One is your established brands who go for a collaboration with a celeb versus when you're building from a scratch. So we are a brand who's building from a scratch. So you need a celeb who understands the startup ecosystem. Somebody who understands that building a startup is a long-term game. It will not be like an instant result where you see in a traditional, probably a traditional brand who already has a distribution build. Probably there is no need to raise the fund. You already have product in place, testing done. Whereas when you do a startup, everything has to happen side by side. So a celeb should very well be on board. He should be ready to pitch in his views, ready to use his network to probably build the network, raise the fund. So multiple things play at center of it when you're like finalizing a celeb. At Twiddles, we have Yuvraj Singh on board. With Yuvraj Singh, we had a very big core that we have been working with him for last 10 years. And we understand the core DNA of Yuvraj Singh. So when we were building Twiddles, few things that were at core of the brand were at the core of Yuvraj Singh also. Yuvraj Singh being a celeb, being an athlete, you can say, he understands nutrition very well. We were building a mindful snacking brand. So nutrition was at core of the brand. So it was a very well sync between the brand versus the celeb that comes into play. So there is a trust factor that builds that, okay, an athlete is doing a nutrition brand, probably understands what he's doing. The next part is, he's a Punjabi, so he loves food. So we knew that the food, nutrition has to be something which is also indulgent. So it cannot be like anything that is happening where something healthy comes in, but you really can't, like you have to force yourself to probably eat it every morning or every evening. So that part of the like brand's DNA also has to come into it. Third, when you see Yuvraj Singh, he's somebody who's very fearless. This is what we are trying to build at Twiddles. We are doing some of the formulation which is like never tried. We are building, we kind of came up with a walnut spread, we can say, which is like one of its kind. When we were kind of launching it, everyone was against it, that nobody has done walnut because they're not stable with the formulation. But looking at the core DNA, we'll do things which will probably break the mold and try new things. So that is how I say. When it comes to our consumers treating celeb brands differently, I would say yes, consumer is more evolved in this age of tech. He's very well informed. The information is at click of a button, so he can just go and check what celeb is endorsing versus what the brand is talking about. If there is not a sync, they'll share their views, and probably within hours of you advertising something, it will be in the face of the brand or the face of the celeb that what you're saying is probably not the core of what you're doing. So you would have seen certain example where certain celeb said, I'm a vegan, and probably it backfired because they were having something. So a lot of like things go into planning before you actually launch a brand in today's age, because the information is there and you have to be prepared for that.
So I think you guys have covered it. Certainly, the need for authenticity is much higher now, versus ever before. And I think three big things, in my opinion, are changing. The first is that yes, you have celebs, but then you also have various levels of celebs, right? So you can have that mega influencer. You can also have micro, nano influencers. And so for a brand, that entire strategy of during brand launch, what's the scale of mega, micro influencers I need to go with versus celebs becomes pretty important. Second, the way you compensate celebs or how they're earning from brands has now become quite different versus just getting money for advertising or for talking about the brand. They're now business partners, equity stakeholders in some cases, which gives them a lot more incentive or definitely more skin in the game when it comes to advertising different brands. And third, the mediums, right? So unlike taking it to movies or being part of a billboard, now there is a story that they can weave around the brand through their social media, through using it in so many other touch points that now customers are now looking at. So that endorsement becomes not just at one point of time, but across various stages across the customer purchase journey.
Thanks a lot. I think we have Pallavi also online. So Pallavi, you have worked across fashion, beauty, wellness, sectors where celebrity culture plays out very differently. In your experience, how do you weigh authenticity versus sheer popularity of the celebrity, and how does this influence your decision across various categories? It would be good if you could throw some insights across various categories that you have worked with.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Pallavi. I'm sorry I'm joining remotely because of the perils of being in the celebrity business keeps you at bay most of the times because of those meetings and certain kind of demands. So I work very closely on celebrities, with celebrities. I've been with HRX for 8 years now, and that's where the core of it is, the core learning comes from. It's a very interesting question that you asked, which is how do you kind of balance in a way between authenticity and storytelling. I'll pick an example of one of the brands we co-own with a celebrity, Saif Ali Khan. It's called House of Patoli. It's a very interesting example because Saif, as an artist, is not even on social media. He doesn't have any social media presence. However, House of Patoli as a brand is completely built on the story of the legacy of Patoli. And the core of the brand, the kernel is Tehzeeb. Now, even if Saif not being on social media has never been a deterrent for launching that brand or promoting that brand or kind of the journey of growth for that brand. But having said that, Saif doesn't need to keep talking about it all the time because he endorses Tehzeeb, he endorses the legacy of Patoli. And that is the storytelling we have created around it. While the core is Saif, while the kernel is borrowed from him, his legacy, they're two different entities. Same for HRX. Hrithik is the fitness icon of the country. But having said that, HRX is a different entity. Sometimes even Hrithik in his verbatim says that HRX is something that I look up to as an ideology to follow. So that's how we've kind of created and balanced out the storytelling and the authenticity, because the common learning here is that the success factor in a celebrity brand comes from authentic storytelling, which means the artist, the celebrity, doesn't need to enact it. He needs to live it. And it needs to seamlessly sort of integrate in his lifestyle, and it needs to come across as genuine, as authentic, as organic. I mean, come out as organic is the wrong word. It should be organic. And that kind of spells success factor for most of these celebrity-driven brands, where celebrity is the kernel.
Got it. Very helpful. Sushruti, you founded a brand with celebrity at its face, right? Are there any unexpected learnings that you have come across in this journey? And how do you manage, or how do you balance her public persona with your brand's identity? And how do you ensure that the brand's identity gets or lasts beyond the celebrity co-founder?
Right. So very quickly, the brand that I run is called Saaki, and it's a women's ethnic, or now we call it Indian workwear brand with Samantha Ruth Prabhu, right? So when we started this brand, it's been about 4 years that it's been in business. And when we started this out, I had already been in the business of celebrity brands for, the last 5 years, right? So something that I seeked out very actively for this brand is that she comes in as a partner, because a lot of the previous associations that I had built were endorsement-led, or associations which were bound by time, which means that 3-month, 6-month kind of windows. But the journey of brand building in itself is a very long haul, right? So we want our celebrity partners to at least be invested for a significant period of time when that brand building activity kind of unveils itself. So in this association, I think, like my co-panelist also mentioned, a lot of celebrities do come in with great business acumen and have a key interest in building a legacy far beyond what their screen life or their acting life brings to them, right? So with that, I think the way that they start to get involved in these businesses have changed, right? They're no longer just saying, hey, I'm going to come and shoot for you on one day, right? But we do have deeper discussions in what's working for the category, right? What's the larger market pulse? So I think that step back that celebrities have taken from this very large persona to start to become active partners in the business is the biggest change. And I think the biggest learning for me is that Samantha's been that and so much more. She gets involved in, like very recently we went through a rebranding from a broader ethnic wear into the workwear category, right? So that came in from a lot of insight that we started tracking at a market level. And when we presented to her, she's equally as open to be able to champion that belief, right? So I think kind of helping us shape that direction for the brand is very important. And I think what celebs still have a hold on is opening certain channels which, maybe innately for a non-celeb brand might have a lot more proving out to do, right? So something that for a non-celeb brand might happen only with a revenue or a certain critical mass that they've been able to achieve, a celeb brand can start to access much more early on in their brand's journey, right? And to your question of how do you balance her public persona to what the brand stands for, I think to what Pallavi was saying early on is the fact that when you step into a celeb brand zone, it's very important that there is a certain extension of the celebrity into the brand. However, that starts to amplify into what does your market resonate with, right? So today, so many women are getting back to work. So many of them are in the space where they are proud of being Indian, right? If that sentiment is celeb only, then the audience will not be able to accept it or embody it, right? So I think for the audience to be able to equally believe in what the brand has to offer, and for the celeb only to kind of reiterate it and amplify it, right? I think that's the right way of building that association.
Thank you. Ricky, coming back to you, how do you ensure that your celebrity associations reflect the values that the brand that you're building, resonate with?
Well, see, I'll tell you from my experience, the first conversation I had with Vivek Oberoi when we spoke about lab-grown diamond, I told him that we've created 20% of the sun's heat in a chamber and we're growing the diamonds. His instant reaction was, wow. Because he had seen the movie Blood Diamond, he feels that mining is not the right thing, it's not the ethical thing, which is what maybe today 20-30% feels. Again, I'm very open to say that mining has improved. There are Kimberley pipelines, it's not as critical as people think it is. But yes, if you can get the same thing done in a chamber, why not? And it's even cheaper. It's husband friendly, let's put it that way. But coming to the ethics, that just comes organically. You cannot force it on a celeb. So you got to know that you have a match. Plus, with a celebrity, at the end of the day, they're normal human beings. You got to see that the chemistry is there, that affection is there, that understanding is there. If all that is not there, then you know what is better? You just do one shoot day and just promote the brand, which works for many people. But for me, being a new brand, for me being new in India, because I've only been here 7 years, it was very important to get a collaborator on board, not really a celebrity on board. Today, a brand that's already been established for 30 years, yes, perfect. For recall of the brand, they can put a brand ambassador. But when you're building something, you want to feel it's yours. So yeah, ethically, the person has to be aligned with you in all ways.
Got it. Coming to Rishi, so given that you're working with a celebrity founder who has a very big personality, very popular, how do emerging brands with slightly limited budgets find the right fit personality for them? And the second thing is, what is your approach to ensuring the celebrity doesn't overshadow the brand in itself?
So I'll probably take the funny route for this. And probably this is kind of our story also. So there are two ways you can look at. For established brands, it's more like a arranged marriage. And for like building from scratch brands like us, it's more of a love story. Okay, so when you build, when it's an arranged marriage, so you obviously go for the status check. You go for the background check, you check the financials and everything, then you close the budget, like what kind of marriage we are planning. So everything comes into picture. But when when you're going for, let's say, a startup story, then it's love at first sight. Okay, the celeb needs to fall in love with the story. Okay, he needs to be in sync with the vision. So just like your love story, the budget will not matter. Like where you are in like probably the hierarchy. So this is how it happened. So for Yuvraj Singh, as we said, we already had a 10-year relation with him. So I can say it was easier for him to fall in love with us. So budget was never a constraint, I would say. So this is how you have to like probably share your side of the story also with the celeb. Like what do you bring as a core? So when you're building a brand, face is a very big, so it brings you trust. Probably it brings you very big reach, awareness. But at the same time, product matters. Your distribution matters. Your capability to probably come up with better product matters. So everyone has to chip in. So when you talk about us as a core, we had somebody who has been working with startup ecosystem for more than 10 years. We have somebody who's been part of Celeb ecosystem for more than 10 years. There is somebody who has formulation know-how and innovation in the product side for more than 10 years. We have somebody who has been part of the tech world for more than 10 years. So this is what we bring as a story to a Celeb. And then Celeb understand, okay, the 4 core are coming from the other side. I am the final pillar or the last pillar. So this is how you kind of build the story and you make them fall in love with you. And I would say budget will never be a constraint there, because you show them a bigger picture. If you really want to see a recent example, I guess everyone have heard the Puma story by now. So even 300 could not sell you a collab. So budget, even big budgets fail. So this is where I would say I would end up. In terms of how you safeguard your brand, I would say it goes both the ways. There are do's and don'ts for brand also, and there are do's and don'ts for the celeb also. So once you sit with them, you understand like who is comfortable at what level, and you finalize those before you get into probably a marriage. So everything will go probably perfect. And just like in marriage, everyone has to compensate at some point of time, and everyone needs to understand somebody you will chip in and somebody the other side will chip in, and this is how probably the long-lasting relationship is built.
Got it. And Dhruv, coming back to you, what are the common mistakes that you see brands make while structuring such deals?
So I think a lot of brands do a damn good job with this, to be honest. So, but having said that, we've seen the spectrum, right? So, the first one I'd call out is just budgeting enough, right? Because the celebrity is not the end of all marketing, right? You want to have enough. I've seen a brand, and obviously I can't name them, but big MNC got a celebrity on board for 3 days, paid them 1 crore, very excited about it. But then they had used up most of their budget on the celebrity and hadn't spent enough on filming the actual, storyline designing, the ad campaign design, and of course launch. And, so just making sure that, yes, the amount that you're paying to this one individual or, their team is going to be a small part of the overall monies that you want to spend to be able to get eyeballs in the most effective way. The sort of related point to that is how much working spend you're really doing and how much you're getting from the 1 or 2 campaigns that you're launching, right? So we tend to get bored of our brand campaigns much faster than our customers do. So they're seeing it 3 times, 4 times in a month. We're seeing it almost every day. We're being reminded of it every day. Our customers are sending us WhatsApp saying that, hey, we saw your brand campaign. And there's always a temptation, next month, let me do something new. Next month, let me do something new. So making sure that you're getting the most bang for the buck, I think, will be important. Second, and here I'm more of a numbers guy, which is, so I think what I tend to see is that between various categories, let's take FMCG for instance, generally the gross margins tend to be higher, and therefore the growth delivering spends that you can do in the form of marketing, R&D, etc. can be a little bit higher. And so you have a little bit more room to play around with marketing spends, right? Whereas if you're, let's say, foods, right? And again, I know there's a spectrum, ice cream at 50% plus gross margin versus staples that are less than 10%. You again want to be mindful of how much you're paying and how much you're spending on celebs. because at the end of the day, once you get to scale, that equation does need to work out. It doesn't need to work out this year or next year, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, your investors or you yourself should be asking, am I using the capital that I have efficiently or not? And we've seen that at least from a 100 crore to a 500 crore growth phase with many of the clients that I work with and advise, you will see a marketing spend drop off on a medium level between 30% as a percentage of sales to about 20%. So that drop you should start to see and build in how much you're going to be paying your celebrities accordingly. So I think those are the two things that come to mind for that question.
Got it. And talking about campaigns, Pallavi, can you share a campaign or partnership that ended up having surprising results or much longer longevity than what you had expected?
Sure, Vatul. First, I just want to build on what Dhruv was saying. Typically, normally when we have a celebrity in the tow, if a business is sort of initially touted to spend, let's say, X crores for an outcome of Y crores, when you onboard a celebrity, that X becomes almost 2X or 3X for a higher outcome. But to be able to live that, I think what we need to work on is obviously matchable distribution. The reason why I'm saying this is celebrity campaign success needs to be defined basis multiple parameters. But what if your distribution is not up to the mark? I mean, if you're not widely available, or let's say the customers are not able to find you, the discovery is difficult, then none of those campaigns would ever succeed. Because typically a celebrity campaign would have a broader reach than a regular campaign. And hence, just to ensure those checkpoints in terms of your the product being great, because again, when the celebrity is involved, a customer tends to be a little more unforgiving versus a regular brand which can go unnoticed. B, your distribution needs to be bang on to define to tick the box on the success criteria for the campaign. Some of the campaigns we have done in the past have kind of outdone themselves. My newest sort of project is with Malaika. People who are from Bombay must have heard of her restaurant, Scarlet House. It's not really a campaign, but it's the personal interest of the celebrity, and she's often seen there. We just did something very simple. We started conducting all her meetings there and her, general evening coffees and things like that. And suddenly it became the most popular ground for paparazzi to pap her. In the restaurant business, we've been 3 months into it, and we have been overachieving the targets month on month with a very strong EBITDA right now, 30% plus, which is kind of not usually seen. But having said that, again, it's F&B and restaurant business. It is kind of cyclical in nature, so we'll see how it pans out. But it's not really a campaign, it's just a strategy. I mean, and just the celebrity involvement in the right form, in the right way, where she's calling her people, she's kind of building it organically, getting a community to be a part of it. And suddenly we've seen that a lot of people who go there, they tag her, they kind of tag the dishes, they tag the items on the menu which are named after her. So it's becoming a trending conversation. Now, well, I would call it a successful campaign, a successful way of doing things, because you're getting organic reach through the paparazzi, and you're getting the user-generated content from the people who are visiting. There are people who have it on their bucket list, sitting in Dubai, and wherever they're coming from, they want to visit that restaurant. So for me, I think it defines the success parameters for a campaign's offtake. But yeah, I mean, horses for courses, there are different ways of doing things. Not necessarily the run-of-the-mill running a digital film would define a campaign in case of a celebrity brand.
Got it. And beyond the campaigns, could you throw some light on some successful co-creation where the celebrity has been deeply involved in product development, specific launches, etc.?
I'll quote an HRX example here. So we had associated with Xiaomi. This is long back. This is in the era where the bands were not so evolved. We were not talking about whoops and sleep analysis. We were barely talking about step counts, calorie measure, heart rate measure, and things like that. It was a very sort of a strategic call where Xiaomi with the Mi Band wanted to penetrate into the sub-1,000 market, like a mass segment. And that's when we had kind of collaborated and co-created the HRX Mi Band. The research insights thrown at us kind of told us that a general customer who wears a band doesn't really understand the consequences or the output called heart rate. They don't know how to utilize it back. I mean, they may see it, they may read it, but they don't know what to do with it. So in a way, it becomes sort of a redundant, one of those variables which can be easily removed to reduce the price and penetrate into the sub-1,000 market where calorie count matters and the step count matters. So we kind of corroborated this product together and we launched it. And I think it was one SKU, one-way color, no accessories, just one product. And we have sold over 1 million units, which is unheard of, unseen of, mainly because the strategy was right, the product was right, it was catering to the right target audience, the segmentation was just perfect, and then we kind of backed it up with the communication with Hrithik, so the awareness was widespread. And that product, the life cycle of that product was almost 22 months, which is again unheard of in case of a product of that nature. And plus we did 1 million units alone from just one SKU. So I think that was a very sort of a strategic collaboration which hit the success parameters for us and the partners.
Got it. Helpful. In the interest of time, maybe we can open up the floor for Q&A.